everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Ellie and today we are going to be doing a fluffy brow tutorial. Yes, I love a good brow and I think brows are one of the most important steps of your makeup routine because they really help to frame one's face, and brows are my absolute favourite. So without further ado, let's get into the video. As you can see, I've zoomed in on my face a little bit more just so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Basically, I'm just going to show you each step of my brow routine and we're going to get into it. I've already laid down my base because I always do base first and then I'll do like my brows and my eyes after. So I'm going to take my Morphe X Jeffree Star brush. This is JS7 and it is like the dual-ended brush that has the actual eyebrow like application brush on the end, and then the spoolie on the other end. I'm going to take the spoolie, I'm just going to brush through my brows. So this, I never really used to do this step, but my brows always used to look quite flat. And then I basically thought like, why not? So I brush upwards and then downwards just so I can get all of my hairs facing the same direction, and then I just brush upwards again just to make them nice and neat. And you can already see that they're a lot more fluffy than that one just from brushing them. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the other brow. As you can see, they are already a lot more fluffy, which I love. Fluffy brows, that's what we're going to aim for today. First of all, I'm going to go in with the Benefit Gimme Brow Plush Gel. Now, I kind of like the way it gives more volume to the brows. I'm not even really interested in the colour that it turns my brows because I just like it for like giving me a bit more volume. So I'm just going to go ahead and brush that through my brows, and I also feel like this kind of gives them a little bit more shape as well. And the reason why you want to use a brow gel is just because it really lifts the brows up. If you go straight into like a pomade or a pencil, it kind of makes your brows look flat. So if you go in with a little bit of brow gel before, then it just makes them look that little bit neater, to be quite honest. And you don't need a lot at all, it's just all about making them neat, as you can see. Now I just want to point out that you can use any brow gel for this. It doesn't have to be Benefit, it doesn't have to be anything. As long as it's a brow gel, it can be clear. I would recommend using a like brown toned one though, depending on the colour of your brows. But a good recommendation I have is the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the mini because I wasn't sure on whether I'd like it and now I love it, so I'm going to obviously have to purchase the full size one. But this is called the Dip Brow Gel and it's in soft brown, and this is a good little recommendation of mine if you want to be able to use good brow gel. But if not, there are plenty of amazing drugstore ones out there, such as the Revolution one, which I do also own, so I would recommend any sort of those products. The next thing I'm going to move on to is the eyebrow pomade. Now I used to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, but I have actually run out of that. So instead I'm going to be using my other holy grail on the daily, which is my collection one. That's my shade. I think it's called soft brown, this one, but I've had it that long that all the packaging kind of smudged. But basically I'm going to take this and I'm going to apply this with the Jeffree Star dual-ended brush. So I'm just going to take a little bit, get enough on the brush, but don't make it like too much. So you want to just wipe it off the edge of the pot, just because quite often I will just take it and like wipe it on and it just looks caked on my brow. So basically you're just going to get this and you're just going to start filling it in. Now I would recommend starting from the bottom, but when you start from the bottom and you just take a line and you go underneath the brow, it kind of shapes it. Now don't worry too much if it's not quite the shape you're after, because we are going to conceal the brows and carve them out just to make them look the best that they can look. But you are going to want to definitely make the line at the bottom and just take it down towards the tail of your brow, like so, and it kind of already gives the appearance of like a fuller brow. And this is where it's going to come in really handy from brushing them with the spoolie, just because the spoolie, as I say, helps to fluff the brows up. And this next step, I'm basically pushing the product up so that the line isn't as sharp. So I've just spent a minute filling those in a little bit and pushing the hairs upwards in this type of motion and just making the line that we drew on originally a little bit less blocky, because you don't want to be able to see that there's like a line there when you finish your brows. So I'm just going to take my spoolie again. Spoolies come in so handy for doing your brows, honestly. I never used to use it and my brows used to look awful and like, I wonder why. Like throwback to 2016 of me. Oh, you don't even want to see my brows. They were awful. But then again, everyone has to start somewhere. This is perfect if you want to start more natural, but it can also be one for glam. So just pops a little bit more product on the end of my brush. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the top of the brow and I'm just going to line the top as well. So we aren't going to conceal this, we are going to take a spoolie through it. But if you don't want to use a spoolie, then try and get the line as straight as you can, just so that they do look really, really, really nice. We're just going to keep kind of pushing the product into the brow and we actually are going to leave this front bit for now. Notice I haven't actually done any of the hairs at the front because that's going to come in a little bit later. If you are worried that it's looking a little bit blocky, take the spoolie and just brush through them, and it makes such a big difference to your brows. I have got a few little gaps here where I don't actually have any brow hair, so you can fill that in, but we are actually going to use a pencil a little bit later on, so if there are some gaps, don't worry about it, you can fill it in with a pencil. Now that we've completely filled that part of the brow in, remember to leave the front. We're going to move on and we're going to use a pencil. So I just want to point out before we start using the pencil that this does work exactly the same with powder, but the reason with powder is kind of different. You kind of have to work it in a little bit more to your brows, because with the cream it kind of, you can push it around and manipulate the product a little bit more, but with powder, like once it's on, it's on. So it does work a lot easier if you use a pomade. Now that that's all been filled in, I'm actually going to use 2 different brow pencils today. So I have the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I love this one. There is hardly any left, as you can tell, because I use it so much. I will show you the other one that I use. I'm going to be using the Morphe Brow Pencil. Now, one of my faves. This is actually really new. As you can see, I've still got quite a lot left, but I literally got on with it since the first time I used it. The reason why I'm going to use 2 is just because you want the hairs at the front to be a little bit lighter than the ones, obviously, in like the middle portion of your brow. So I'm just going to use the Benefit pencil first of all, and I'm going to actually use that in the middle of my brow, because this is the exact same colour as the brow gel that we used in the beginning of the video. So this is going to make the brows look exactly the same colour and shouldn't be too much of a difference. So I'm just going to keep brushing that through. Now, as you can see, I have got a little bit of a dip there because my hairs do actually grow there. I'm not allowed to go out to get our brows done, obviously. So I've been doing mine at home, but I miss a few hairs and I'm too scared to pluck them out in case they actually should be there, and it's just me not being able to draw brows on, but hopefully they shouldn't be there. So I've just blended that in nicely using little motions. You don't want to colour like this, you just kind of want to take the hairs in motions like that, because you can get so much more control over the product by doing it this way rather than like rubbing like that. So I've just filled all those gaps, and you can already see that they are like a little bit less patchy now, as you know, as they were at the start. They were quite bad. Then I'm just going to take little motions here, and you want to do this very lightly because, as I say, we are going to use a Morphe pencil that is lighter, and you're just going to draw a few little lines where your hairs end. So remember, this has to be really light, because if you don't do it light, then the other one, it just won't give you the ombre effect that you're after. So you can see I've been able to fill that in a little bit, and we are going to move straight on to the Morphe pencil. This is in shade Latte, if anybody's wondering. It's got a spoolie on one end and the cute little micro pencil on the other end. And I'm just going to go ahead and use the same motions as I did before. I apologise if you can hear banging in the background. My family is very loud. Now, the reason why you want to do swiping motions particularly there is because you don't want the end to look too blocky. You kind of want to let it fade out. So this is just one of the many ways I do my brows. I go through phases, as you'll have seen on my Instagram, which, if you don't follow, by the way, I'll pop it in the description below. I'm at Ellie Makeup, and this is just one of them. But I'm now going to take the spoolie and just go underneath, because I know there is a few like kind of sharp lines, as you can see, and I'm just going to brush upwards and just get rid of any of the lines, I guess. Just make it look really, really neat, so you can see that is the brow. Let's move on to the next step. So the next step in my brow routine is actually one that I've only just started using. So if you don't want to see this part, which is going to be me using soap on my brow, then please feel free to fast forward to the next step where we carve them out. But firstly, I'm going to use my soap. I'm going to be using the Body Shop soap. You can use water or setting spray, so I'm just going to spritz it with some setting spray and leave that until it's soaked in. So you're just going to get the spoolie, you're going to scrape this along the soap, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to wipe this along the soap. So I'm just going to push it along the soap bar and get rid of any of the excess, but apart from the actual spoolie itself, there shouldn't be any excess. I'm just going to go ahead and brush the spoolie through my brows. Now, you don't need a lot of this, and you need to use very gentle motions, else it will just completely cover your brows in soap. I'm just going to push it up a little bit, and this is just going to immediately make my brows look more voluminous. So I'm just going to keep pushing the product through them. So now I've applied all the products that we need to do the brows. It's time to carve them out. So today I'm going to be using the Jeffree Star concealer. This is in shade C1. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to pop it on the back of my hand. I'm just going to go ahead and grab an angled brush. I'm just going to take a little bit on the end of this and I'm just going to go ahead and take it under now. So I'm just going to go ahead and carve that out. I'm just taking my Real Techniques Beauty Spot and I've already started to blend it in, but I'm just going to show you exactly how I do it. So I take little tapping motions and just keep pressing it against the brows, because if you kind of rub it, just moves the product, so I tend to kind of tap and then it doesn't do that so much. So now that my brow has been carved out, this is the final brow. I've just brushed through it with a spoolie and you can see that this is the finished brow. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the other brow on off camera and then we'll be back to show you the reveal. Why are you not going right? Oh, why do I have to have a bad brow day today? It's okay. Keep going. You got it. I don't got it. So there we have it. My other eyebrow has now been done in the exact same way that I did my first one on camera. I've also popped some mascara on because my eyes are looking a little bit dead. That is the end of the video, guys, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I do my brows on a daily basis. If you did like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, and also hit the bell icon so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. And if you do want to come and join me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is @ellie.y.makeup, which I will pop up on the screen somewhere right now, wherever it'll be. And I have got so many more exciting videos to come, so please, if you would like any videos doing, please suggest some. And I hope you have a great day, guys. Bye.